party people? Flexi Saturday.
Flexi Saturday.
Because we didn't get this episode out Flexi Friday. So what's up, party people? What's up, party people? Got done doing a little Betcons, metabolic conditioning. They were good ones.
Nice. It was
I'm tired. And then Taylor, freaking 30-pound PR to his deadlift.
Yep.
Shout out to that guy.
It was rad. All the hype, all the motivation.
So much hype, so much motivation. It's what it's all about. It's all about hype. It's all about food. Oh man, I'm so tired. Okay.
Come back.
2020.
From, holidays, Christmas, New Year.
Welcome back to the show.
It's a new year.
Drum
Year
roll.
vision. Boom. 2020.
2020. Welcome back y'all to the show, Flexi Bros. What we have for you.
What do we have? Oh, we have some. Is that a cue?
That was cute.
We have some awesome, well, kind of just one basic interview in the works. Pretty rad individual.
We're gonna have more interviews in 2020. That's our
And
goal. New Year's resolution to have more interviews.
I like it. We're gonna talk about that New Year's resolution, right?
I actually had another thought. Okay, let's go right into the New Year's resolutions. I had just thinking about this the other day
Let's go.
more, and I was actually like, the other day I said, stupid New Year's resolutions, and I was thinking about it. New Year's resolutions are actually really good. They just need to be, what's the word? Directed correctly. They need to be going about. You need to go about your New Year's resolutions correctly. You can't think about it as like a. You can't think about it like the New Year's resolution is going to change your life itself.
Right. And trying to do
Anybody can make a New Year's
such
resolution.
a big thing, you know.
Anybody can make a New Year's resolution. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire in 2020. But if I don't do anything about it, nothing's going to happen. It's a secret. Me to you. Us to you. If you don't do anything about your New Year's resolutions, nothing's going to happen. It doesn't just happen.
And sometimes
Doesn't just happen, people.
we try and do way too much, and then we don't have realistic goals and like small goals towards that big resolution that we made to kind of keep us motivated and on track. Instead, we have just like this one big thing of like, oh, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds. Okay, but how do you get that? You set small little individual goals to work towards that big goal, I think.
Yeah, you don't set yourself up for success. You just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like reading the Bible in a year. So many people. Like, I'm gonna read. I've done it. I'm gonna read the Bible in 2000. I think it was like 2014 for me. I didn't do it because I was like, I'm gonna read the Bible in a year. I started for like first month, and then it was just like I skipped a day here, skipped a day there because I didn't give myself realistic goals. Of like, okay, why don't I just set my goal every day? I'm gonna read a chapter, 2 chapters.
Yeah.
But instead it was like, I need to read the Bible in a year. I was like, well, if I skip today, I'll just make it up another day and just read like 10 chapters. It don't work like that.
Right. And even with that thing of like, oh, I need to read 2 chapters to reach that goal. Okay. That whole lot thing of like need. Okay. Why do you need to? Is it more, what's the end goal? Like, why do you want to read the whole Bible in a year?
It's great if you do.
I mean, it's great. Yeah, it's great if you do. But like, if you read the whole, even if you do read the whole Bible in a year, like if you don't even have the right intentional like thought behind it, or wanting to grow in the Word and like dig deeper, like it's not really, it's gonna really help you, in your walk with the Lord, and even in fitness, like going to the gym like every single day, like that's one of your goals. But if you don't have like, intentional plan each and every day, and like things that you can kind of check off, small like accomplishments that you can kind of work towards to make it fun, to make it like lively, and not always like same old thing and boring and whatever.
You don't have to treat it like a routine. There is discipline in just doing it, because sometimes even in your faith with reading the Bible, there's a point sometimes where you just don't want to, but you need to. The reason you need to is because you need Christ. You need His grace, you need His mercy every day. That's the point. So sometimes we just need to sit down and read the Bible and spend time with the Word, spend time with God, even when we don't feel like it, because we need Him.
Yeah.
But the aspect of, I think a few of our words for 2020 would be intentionality, consistency. Those would be my two main ones, I think. I don't know, what are you?
Growth.
Growth.
A good one.
Yeah, but those things come with consistency, discipline, and intentionality. Growth will come. The other day I was talking a little bit about trusting the process. You put the hard work in, you put the consistency in, you put the discipline in. Trust the process that you will reap the benefit. That's how it works. But if you don't put the work in, you don't put the consistency in, you don't put the intentionality, you can't trust the process because you haven't done the process. You gotta do the process, trust the process. You don't do the process, you can't trust the process. There's no process.
So
you haven't done it.
kind of with this whole thought, let's jump right into the kind of thing we were talking about this week. Wait, quick little pause. Christmas present for the Flexi Bros.
Woo!
And I got these.
Shout out to
Freaking
my
sipping mugs.
smoking out wife.
Look at that. Grill right underneath. In the front. Freaking dope.
Okay, also,
Um,
in the works, we haven't really talked about this yet.
uh,
We should talk about it first.
what thing were we talking
T-shirts.
about? Oh, t-shirts. Yeah?
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
That's all we're gonna say.
Apparel. Swag.
Anyway,
All of it.
swag game. Continue.
So let's go right into that topic of talking the whole thing along about 2020 goals and resolutions and like kind of the whole thing. I mean it's been around for so long, but like I think it's just more and more on social media and like the whole thing of like self-love and like self-improvement and like what's the other like self-help, like in the self-help books and all that kind of thing. Like, you know, take care of yourself first so you're able to serve those around you. I mean, that's the end goal, right?
True, and it's true.
There's a lot of good things with that. So let's just kind of talk about that, like
I'm gonna get fired up.
that balance and how it's good, how it's not good.
We'll be back.
You know, what's really the truth that we should be looking towards and really seeking the Lord in. And I don't know, it's a controversial topic right now. So I don't know, what do you got? Got a verse there?
We got a bunch of verses. First thing I'm gonna say be careful with the mindset of I need to love myself more this year. I need to love myself more. Don't get it mixed. And sure, you might not mean it like this, but what we're trying to say is be careful with that mindset, because nowhere in the Bible does God ever tell us to love ourselves more. He actually says the direct opposite. He says we are lovers of ourselves and we love ourselves too much. Situation. Let's say somebody's arrogant. You say, oh, they think so highly of themselves. They just love themselves so much. They think so much of themselves. Too much self-love. Okay? Somebody that has self-pity. You're like, oh, they need to love themselves more because they're just down in woe is me. But I'm going to challenge you with the thought that they are actually loving themselves too much too. Because woe is me is a factor of the mind that it's about me.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about yourself. Woe is me, self-pity, I suck, I this. Your mindset is on yourself, which is self-love. So America does not, the world, human race does not have a problem with loving themselves. So I don't care how you think about self-love. I don't care how you look at self-love. Human race has a problem with self-love. They always have, they always will. It's called sin nature because we live in a fallen world. God doesn't tell us to love ourselves more. He tells us to love Him and love others.
Nice.
Okay. And there's like a ton of Bible verses. I'm going to only read a few. 2 Timothy 3:4. Treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. 2 Timothy 3:2. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy. You see how lovers of self is leveled up there with all these other things: conceit, disobedient, abusive, ungrateful, unholy. What's the other one I had? The 2 Timothy 3:1-17 is kind of similar, but understand this: that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient, heartless, unholy, slanderous, without self-control, brutal. Self-love is in there with all these other things, in the same is there as well. Well, there's so many. Knowing this, 2 Peter 3:3, knowing this first of all, that scoffers will come in the last days with scoffing, following their own sinful desires. There's a verse, and I don't have it at my hand, but basically says, basically behind, not behind all, but, I'm going to butcher this, but the heart is wicked. So you can't trust your own heart. Because Proverbs, yes. But I forget how that goes. Wicked and deceitful. The only thing that we can trust is God and His Word. So if we come to a mindset, and I understand that sometimes when we're saying I need to love myself more, it's really what needs to happen is you need to love how God sees you, and your security comes from Him. Your identity comes from Him. So you can be secure in yourself, not because you love yourself, but because you see how God sees you.
Yeah. So what's kind of the thing that, like, tension between like taking care of yourself, your body, your mind, your soul, but not to a point where you're loving yourself. So say like someone wants to get in shape, like, oh, I'm not happy with my weight or whatever, like I want to lose some weight, my pounds, and someone else would be getting the opposite end. I'm like, oh, I'm just, I'm me. I just love myself how I am. Like, just this is how God made me, and maybe they're overweight, and it's just like,
yeah,
and letting themselves kind of go and not really caring how they look or how they feel, how they act,
yeah.
And just be like, oh yeah, this is how I am. This is me. Okay.
So many verses, gosh.
I know.
But yeah, no, and along with that is self-help and making yourself a better person isn't bad. That's not what we're trying to say. But if you put it in the mindset, is what's the end goal of those things? Is to help others and to love God through that. God has given us things through His grace. It's part of grace. He's given us things we don't deserve because we deserve hell. So He given us body. He's asked us to steward these bodies. If I'm 400 pounds and I can't walk, I'm not going to be able to better help other people and understand there's a lot of people out there that don't like where they're at. And I get that. And we work to change those things, to help ourselves so we can help others. We can live and see our grandkids grow up and play with them. We can love them. We can do fun memories with our kids, impact others, help the homeless, help the sick, help the needy, help the orphan, help people because God first loved us, so we love others. Not because I need to love myself more so I don't have insecurities and doubts. Insecurities and doubts will always be there because we live in a fallen world. But the more we trust God, what He says, the more those insecurities go away. Oh man, I get fired up.
Yeah, I think that's good thoughts. And it's hard to kind of know, like, I think we all been there of like getting to a point where we love ourselves too much, every single day.
We are
we're all selfish.
Lovers, yeah.
And but at the same point, like, it can almost be like a cover up of like, oh, I'm self-helping myself so I can help others in a way, you know, kind of using that as like a cover up, which is that's the point, you know, but all, you know, each day like kind of falling into like, oh, you know, am I doing this just for myself, you know, and, you know, not giving the glory to God, not honoring Him, and you know, always keeping Him number one. You know, that's really where it's at. And yeah, I know I needed that reminder this week, because I read this article someone shared about what was the title called? Please don't preach self-help, preach
self-help.
Jesus or something like that. And it's like, I mean, it's so much out there of like, yeah, so self-help books like everywhere out there, loving yourself, like being confident in who you are, and
Which
just like what Caleb was saying, is
which
like,
aren't bad
right,
in themselves with the right mindset.
yeah,
But that is an easy line to walk, to where you can easily get into just like all out self.
yeah,
And even, I mean, you look at the world, this is a biblical standpoint, so you look at the world, there's so many people that are secure about themselves, and they're strong, and they're bold, and all these things, but without Christ, it's not going to matter. Sure, you can be secure to an extent, I think. I don't, you know, how secure is it? I don't know, without Christ. But I just think having to be careful with the thought process of self-love, because I think it's a dangerous road to walk. You just have to be careful with where you're taking that, because it's true. I mean, who doesn't want to look good? Part of the reason I work out is because I want to look good. I'd be lying if I didn't say that. So, self-love. We all have a part of self-love, but we try daily to stay. I want to stay fit. I enjoy competing. There's nothing wrong with doing things you enjoy. That's not necessarily what we were talking about. But
again, it just goes back to like keeping the Lord number one, you know, and not letting fitness or competitions and your job and your family and your kids like take all your energy, and like, you know, and doing everything you can to be at the top, or like to, all, you know, get a PR, and if you don't, then like it's, you know, the end of the world, or like whatever, like, you know, nothing to prove really, you know. And I think I was listening to Francis Chan on a podcast, and he was just like talking a lot of things that he's going through personally, and like stuff on social media, and people take things out of context, and he's just like, hey, I'm a real person. Like, I'm not somebody that's just like a celebrity preacher, you know. He's a real person just like we are, you know. And we can't expect to have a high standard for, you know, someone else like him.
Which Paul
he was
talks
just
about
like, hey, just seek the Lord. Like, just seek the Lord first. And I think that's like where we're gonna get truth and confidence and like security to walk out our faith and not have anything to prove, and, you know, get a good workout in and compete, and whether the result is a win or a loss, like, just honor the Lord, like,
right,
you know.
And even with that, like doing stuff you love, there's nothing wrong with doing stuff that you really love because you love it. That's grace. God has given us gifts. He wants us to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even what we're talking about. But it's kind
anyway,
of like a side note.
Take for what it's worth.
Go after your goals. Like, do the things that you
Lord.
want. I mean, yeah, self-help. We want to encourage you to do the things that you want in goals. That's what we're about. But we're more about your walk with the Lord in the fact of seek security in Christ, and not just trying to wake up every day and give you some sort of motivational talk about loving yourself more. You'll find way more security resting in the arms of Jesus.
Yeah. What was that thing you said this week when we were talking? You said and maybe this is just like person or your personality maybe
It's
too.
definitely
I
my
don't know, but,
personality.
like,
It's definitely
you
my
said like
personality.
I find more encouragement, and if someone tells me my
depravity.
depravity rather than like encourages me and like
I
telling
find
me how good I am.
Yeah, I find more encouragement when people tell me the depth of my depravity. Remember, so we're a human race of forgetfulness. You look at before time, we just forget. We forget where we came from. We forget yesterday. We forget our memories. We forget all the good things that have happened. We always look at the bad things. You look at Israel. God would send manna. They would forget about it, and they'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna die," freak out. We do the same thing. I need to be remembered daily of my depravity, that I am sinful, and that without Christ, nothing, and I deserve hell. If I don't remember that daily, how can I look at God's grace and mercy and be so in all of that? Like, who cares about grace and mercy if I don't look at my depravity?
Yeah. Because if you didn't have that,
If you don't have depravity,
if we weren't,
if we're not
didn't have
bad,
that, we don't need Jesus. We can do it on our own.
if we're not sick, why do you need a doctor?
It can be self-help, and we could look at ourselves.
There's a reason we need Jesus, and it's because we're sick.
Yeah.
We're gonna die. And so
I am.
I need people to remind me that. I'm not saying, "Oh, dude, you suck, man, you're a sinner, be a wretch," and then end it there.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta preach hope and grace and mercy, but without the sickness, there's no reason to be healed.
Yeah, and that's even what Francis Chan
Which
talks
is
about
so
too. It's
precious. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
the hard like thing of like preaching to such a huge crowd is like there's people in through the stages of life that need that hug or that encouragement.
Yes. Oh yes.
And like grace and mercy.
Yes.
And then there's people that like need the judgment and like the kind of kick in the butt, kind of thing. And it's like, how do you like preach to such a huge crowd and like someone's gonna take it totally different and got something out of the sermon and that was like not even like, how'd you get that, And he was just like sharing about his struggle with that, and I think like that's the thing is like we all are individually different and going through life, different seasons and different times of life. But the truth is that one, we're all sinners. We all need a savior, and we all need the forgiveness of God. Like, that's the truth right there. That's all of us. That's just not a personality.
Hallelujah, people.
Individual, like, oh yeah, well that's how you feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Like,
preaching a lot of Bible today, and I love it. And also with that, people take things wrong. People will blame you. People would take things out of context. Like Francis Chan saying, but that's where actual security in the Lord and identity in the Lord versus self-love and self-help is go back to the Word. What does God say? 1 John 4:16. So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. And God abides in him. Like, understand and take Scripture for what it is. Like, he has promised these things to us. Grab a hold of those and don't let go of them.
Yeah.
I don't have anything more to say. I'm done.
I think it's good. I think it's just take it for what it's worth, seek the Lord, and get in the Word. Hope that encourages you and maybe kicks your self-pride a little bit. I know it kicks mine all the time.
All the time.
And yeah, just less of me and more of Jesus,
And more working out.
Yeah, getting flexy and swollen. Strength program. Hey, that's what we're on. We're doing a strength program.
Yeah.
Started
This is the
past
first
Monday.
full week.
First full
Tomorrow's
week.
the first rest day. Praise Jesus.
Oh man,
I'm tired.
I think it's mainly just because like we switched the program. Like it's different. Our bodies are not used to it. We've been doing like kind of Metcons.
We got no Metcons except for
strength.
Saturdays now. Only lifting.
And like superset stuff.
Which is kind of like a Metcon, but not.
So we're kind of like doing like an unloading kind of program where I have like a heavy lift, whether it's like a squats or a heavy leg day, and then we'll unload superset, like pulling and pushing movement, kind of like lighter sets or lighter reps and lighter weight, more reps.
And then the next day we'll go
Wow.
heavy with what we unloaded, and then we'll unload with what we did heavy the day before.
Yeah.
So pretty much every day we
Full
work
body, basically.
full body.
Every day.
If you want to know more about the program, or if you want the program, we'll give it to you for free. It's a 4-week program, Monday through Saturday. You don't have to do Saturday. You can take Saturday as a rest day as well as Sunday. Saturday is a Metcon day.
Yeah.
We still do it because...
And that's just kind
We're
of
done.
make up kind of whatever movements you didn't do during the week. Just kind of put something together.
Gymnastics, that kind of thing. Anyway,
Fun little thing.
if you need a program, if you don't know what to do at the gym, hit us up. We'll give you this program for free. Because we love you guys.
Yeah. Sweet. I feel like there's something else
You want to say anything else?
we were going to talk about. Just kind of the new year and
That was it?
pretty much it.
I feel good.
2020. Feels pretty good.
I feel good.
Stay flexy. Have a great rest of the week. And
We'll see you on the flip side. We'll
stay tuned for
see
the
you
special guest coming up.
throughout the week.
Hopefully we can get that to you guys. Get some questions for him or her. We're not going to mention the name.
CrossFit Games. That's all we're going to say. CrossFit Games.
CrossFit Games participant individual.
That's all we're going to say.
Something like that.
Anyway, we love you guys.
Stay on the flip side.
Stay flexy. Stay swole and flexy.